She consoled herself with these words and got water to wash tears off her face. Back at home, Kemi could not explain all that she saw and experienced in her brother's house when she got back that midnight. Nobody was expecting her to come that same day, and even if she has to come, not without the money. As she narrates her experience, it all sounded like lies. They all decided to wait till morning when Tolu will come and explain what happened, but they waited all day and they never saw him. They put calls across and he gave several excuses as usual. This became a thing of great concern to everyone in the community. For several months Tolu and his cohorts never visited their community, but the news of their reckless spending at different occasions was everywhere. Some of Charles and Tolu family members never knew the level of the massive wealth that they command until they visited the community for the village New Yam festival. The village square was a sight to behold. The boys came fully prepared. When Tolu and Charles got to the village, they didn't go home to their family members. They knew they will have lots and lots of questions to answer. Questions like, where is your wife or your fiancé, or when are you getting married, what business do you do? Why are you not caring for your immediate family members? And others will come to ask for one help or the other. To avoid all this, they just did all their display at the village square and left the village to township immediately. But not without giving lots and lots of money to some people that are not blood related to them, since the law of the covenant is that none of their blood related siblings should spend from the money, or else something terrible and unexplainable will happen to them. Even when they saw some of their family members at the festival, they made sure their money did not get to them, nor to break the covenants. This action became a thing of concern to the family members and even other people that were there. The only explanation to this was that something was definitely wrong somewhere. Yinka was in the village. He was also at the village square for the New Yam celebration. He was dumbfounded when he saw his two childhood friends Charles and Tolu spending and spraying money. Yinka lost his job 10 months ago, and since then he has been in the village. He got married 2 years ago to his co-staff. The company had some financial crisis and decided to downsize their staff, and unfortunately, Yinka and his wife were affected. They managed to start a very small grocery business with their payoff, but spent all the money for hospital bills when the wife gave birth to a beautiful baby girl through a cesarean section. His situation became so bad that he had to take his wife and daughter to the village to live with his mother until things improves. That was when he saw his two friends Tolu and Charles. Tolu and Charles were surprised to see Yinka at the state and condition which they saw him. When they last saw him, he was really doing well. Even when they were still with Andy waiting for their wealth to manifest, they were still reaching out to him and he was still sending them money for upkeep. For some reasons their communication slowed down. They thought he had relocated to another country because he was always traveling for official duties and trainings. Now they are seeing him in this devastating state. It came as a big shock. Their conversations and exchange of pleasantries happened so fast. Yinka didn't even have a phone to take their phone numbers. His phone fell into water while carrying his baby. He had sent it for repairs. Is it this bad? Tolu asked him when they discovered he had no phone. They collected his own phone numbers and gave him some money and promised to call him. Weeks turned to months. Yinka did not hear from them. He went to Tolu's younger sister to collect his address. He was surprised to meet them at the state they were. He could not add up the Tolu he saw few months ago swimming in money and the level of abject poverty that the mother and siblings are wallowing in. Tolu has extended his selfish nature even to his old and sick mother, he thought. Yinka knew Tolu to be a very selfish and self-centered person while they were in school, but now that he has lots of money to throw around, he expected him to have changed, especially towards his aged mother and siblings. Please help us to talk to him if you see him. Things are really bad with me and his siblings. Tolu's mother, who was looking so unkempt and hungry, managed to speak with so much pains. I will, Mama. Things will definitely change once I am able to locate him. Yinka left his wife, daughter, and others and went to the city. He got to the city at midnight. Charles' phone was switched off while Tolu's phone rang severally, but he didn't pick. But someone else called later and introduced himself as Tolu's personal assistant and told him that Tolu was in a crucial meeting and could not pick his call. Yinka introduced himself to him and he promised that the boss will call him after the meeting. Yinka waited all day. Tolu nor his assistant didn't call, but he called severally and the phone numbers never connected. Yinka was troubled but later saw one driver from his village who gave him the description of the place. But it was already too late, so he decided to sleep at the motor park. While sleeping inside one of the buses in the park with other travelers who were passing the night for several reasons, armed robbers struck, took all their belongings including that of Yinka. Yinka was left without a phone and the jotter he wrote the house address on. For hours after the robbers left, he was lost in deep thought. This is a bad omen, he said to himself. Where will I start from? How will I locate Tolu and Charles? The robbers took everything. Even if I want to go back home to my wife and daughter, how will I do that? The park managers reported the robbery incident to the police. When the police officers came to the motor park, all of the passengers and drivers that slept in the bus were taken to the police station for interrogation and to write statements. When they were finally released to go, he went to sit under the tree because he was tired and hungry. He slept off. A fat-bellied drunken police officer on duty who had noticed him for a long time woke him up and interrogated him. He told him why he came to the city and gave a little and scanty description of the address. Fortunately, the officer knows Tolu. He called him the name they call him in this town, the Big T. He described the place for Yinka and gave him some money. As Yinka left the station, the officer called him back and said to him, I see you as a gentleman, please be careful, be very careful. Yinka went in search of the house of Tolu, asking different people until he got to a house that has the description that was given him. He stood there for several minutes without knocking. This definitely cannot be Tolu's house. As a matter of fact, this is not a house, it's a castle. Tolu possibly wouldn't be living in a castle. Was it why the police officer told me to be careful? Standing at the corner of the fence, many thoughts ran through his mind. The last time he spoke to his wife was in the night before the robbery incident. His mother, Tolu's mom, and his other siblings. Many other thoughts he could not control. At a time, he could feel himself slumping. He quickly sat on the ground, rested his back on the wall. He actually passed out for some seconds without realizing it, if not for a blast of horn from a moving long vehicle that woke him up. The words from the fat-bellied drunken police officer kept ringing, be very careful. He staggered to his feet and walked to the gate. He stood for few seconds, uttered some prayers and knocked, waited for a while without response. He knocked again and a well-dressed security man opened the gate. Yes, how may I help you? The security man asked, scanning him from his head to his toes severally with his bulged eyes. Yinka looked really embarrassed from the eye scanning. Yes, I say, who are you looking for? The security man asked, this time raising his voice. Good morning. Oh, very sorry. Good evening, sir. My name is Yinka. Please, I want to see Tolu. Tolu? Who is Tolu? The security queried. Before Yinka could say a word, the security man started. Are you sure you are in the right place? Tolu does not live here. Check the next compound. Oh please, Oga sir, he lives here. Do you want to teach me my job? I say Tolu does not live here. Suddenly, like a flash, he remembers the name. The policeman called him the Big T. Okay, I want to see him. A Big T. Yinka squeezing his face as if he was trying to remember something. Are you sure you know who you are looking for? We don't have Mr. Big T here, the gate man said, trying to close the gate. Yinka held the gate with his tired hands. Please help me, he lives here. Okay, let me ask you, does he work here? The security man asked. I can't say, I was told that he lives here. Yinka responded. While this discussion was going on, Tolu called on the security man. That voice sounds like Tolu's voice, Yinka thought to himself. While the security man went to answer the call, Yinka sat at the gate. He was too tired to stand. He was again lost in thoughts. He started reflecting on their past while they were childhood friends, in the village community secondary school, their university days, when they were coming to him for help, Tolu's siblings, his own family, and he slept off. The voice of the security man woke him up after a few minutes, and after much interrogation it was clear to him that it was his boss he was looking for. He allowed him to enter the compound but gave him a seat at the gate until his boss comes out. When Yinka entered the compound, he was shocked when he saw the level of display of wealth that was in the compound. From the fleet of cars, to the security men, to the protocol officers, to the maids and the chefs, he started to doubt if he was in the right place. Am I sure I am in the right place? This place looks like a hotel or the house of one of the country's top politicians. I just hope I don't put myself in trouble, he said. Meanwhile, Tolu had come out. One of his protocol officers had gone to tell him of one man called Yinka who has come to look for him. From the balcony where he was standing, Tolu called on Yinka. Hearing his name, he jumped up ready to run because he was lost in thought when he heard his name. The protocols ushered him in, to meet with Tolu. To the amazement of everyone present, Tolu gave Yinka a huge hug. I was told you called, but my protocols tried calling back and your line was switched off, Tolu said to Yinka. They actually stole my phone. We were robbed at the motor park where I slept, Yinka responded. Why did you have to sleep at the motor park? Tolu asked in surprise. Yinka narrated the long story, and for a long time they were discussing lots of issues. He was shown his room and was asked to freshen up while some clothes were handed over to him by one of the maids. The house chef set a table full of different kinds of meals you can think of. Yinka was watching football from a television set as wide as the length of the wall. When Tolu came into the sitting room, well dressed with a perfume fragrance that seems not from this world, he went straight to the dining table and invited Yinka to come over. At the table, Yinka did not know whether to drink, eat, or discuss. Like running water, lots of thoughts were running through his mind. What has Tolu turned to? What must have brought this level of wealth to him? Am I dreaming? He pinched himself to be sure it was happening live and not in the dream realm. It's something. Tolu interrupted his thoughts while trying to help him. There was a knock at the door. Charles had driven into the compound in one of his luxurious cars. Immediately, Yinka sighting Charles, he gave a big sigh. It then dawned on him that he was not dreaming, that everything was real. After having a great meal and drink, Charles asked Yinka to follow him to his place to spend some time before coming back to Tolu's place. Yinka hesitated and told them that he came so that they can help him with some money to be able to start a business. He explained to them the current situation of his wife and daughter who are in the village with his mother. They convinced him to stay for a while for them to take care of him before they give him money for his business. For the days they stayed together, the three of them were always going out, and Yinka watched them spending money recklessly. He wondered why their family members are not partaking and enjoying from this wealth. Anytime he talked about it or mentioned his wife and daughter, they put up a strange face. They gave him money to spend and send to his wife and daughter. He had bought a new phone he now calls his wife and tell lots of stories that raises her hope. One day he brought up the issue of their settling down, and he expressed concern that since he came he has not seen them with an intimate female friend. They always responded with words like, "Something is on the pipeline, I am working out something, my girl is in school." Yinka even went as far as recommending some of their female classmates and schoolmates that are yet to be married, but they always respond with a wave of hands. After a few days they decided to have a discussion. They then fixed time and place. They discussed extensively, and he shared his different business ideas he had with them, and they promised to give him something to establish him, but he has to follow them to a particular business meeting the next day. But the day they proposed for the business meeting came and they took him to an eatery as usual, gave him much to eat and drink. There was a great silence between them. Tolu broke the silence and started by telling Yinka that they are sorry, that they are not allowed to give him money for business establishments, that the best they are allowed to do is what they have been giving him to eat, drink and to spend. Yinka was shocked and at the same time surprised. Who are the people? Where are they from? Do they know where and how we started from? Do they know our story? How can someone or group of people just bump up from somewhere and ask you not to help me? Please, he knelt down with tears rolling down his cheeks. Okay, don't give me for free, loan me the money and I will pay back with interest. Please Charles, Tolu, it's me Yinka, pity me. He started sobbing profusely. Tolu left him and Charles and walked away. Yinka held Charles and was sobbing. Charles, please look at me with pity, have mercy on me if I have offended you. I can't continue like this. Yinka, Charles called, there is a price to be paid, a costly price. I don't mind the price. Yinka said, okay, make me one of your subordinates in your office, I mean in your organization. Yinka said, raising his hands. See, let me tell you the truth, Tolu stated, there is no office or organization anywhere. You have to join us. Join you? Where? What? Yinka held Charles' hands. Let me tell you, Charles continued, there is one group that we are into. It's not that the group is bad, but you are made to pay a huge price. You need to join the group. When you are with us, you will not have any need to ask, you will be as rich as us or even richer. Is it a Ponzi scheme group? Or thrift group? Yinka asked. What is the procedure? I am ready to join, as long as I can raise money to start something for myself. They all left the eatery together to Tolu's house. When they got to Tolu's house, Tolu and Charles went somewhere and spoke on very low tone for a while. They both concluded that they should tell him the truth of what they are into. Yinka was just there looking at them as usual, lost in thought, scanning everywhere in the compound with his eyes. These my friends have so much money to throw away, why is it so hard for them to lend me some? He spoke out his thoughts. Maybe I offended them when I had money. I am going to apologize to them. When Tolu and Charles concluded their discussion, they beckoned on him. He knelt down and started asking for forgiveness if he had offended them unknowingly when he had money and them coming around him to ask for help. Nothing like that, they told him. Then they told him their story, why they are not married, why they don't have children, why their family members are not enjoying from their wealth or allowed to stay with them or even visit them. They concluded by telling him if he is ready to pay the price, he will be as rich as or richer than them. At this point, he was lost in deep thoughts. The police officer and his saying flashed into his mind, be very, very careful. He hesitated and turned the offer down. And they told him that it was the best they could do for him. It was already night. Yinka bid them good night and entered his room. He was now lost in thought as he laid on the floor in the room, not knowing the action that will come up next. Still outside, Charles called Tolu aside. Now, there is a big problem, Charles said. What big problem? Tolu asked. Yinka has no choice, he has to join us. We have told him our secret, we won't allow him to go with the secret. If he does not join, we will send him on an errand to the world beyond. So, Tolu, you have a great job to do tonight. You have to convince him to join us. Tolu stood still while he watched Charles drive his car out of his compound. Meanwhile, Yinka in the guest room was restless. Why did I come here? What should I do? Should I call my wife to tell her? What price will I pay if I decide to join? What will happen to my wife and my daughter? What about my mother? Tears rolled down his cheek. Tolu entered the room and pulled him up to sit on the bed. Tolu, Yinka called him, I will be leaving first thing tomorrow morning since you two have made up your minds not to help me and I can't really lay my hands on any offense I have committed. You kept talking about the price. I don't think I can pay the price you named for me to join your business group at this point. Tolu interrupted him, the price? What price? You are not going to pay the same price with us. Even if you have to pay the same price with us, you are already married and you have a daughter. No one will know. Yinka, why don't you pay this price and give your wife and daughter a better life? You see, your case is different from my own and Charles's own. Can't you see yours is far, far better than ours? See Yinka, Tolu continued, whatever price you are asked to pay, it won't be as grievous as ours. We are there to support you. Yinka seems to cave into his ideas and convictions. I am afraid of the price, Yinka said. I have said we will help you, we will help to pay whatever price they demand of you. Tolu said this, knowing it won't be possible to help him pay the price, but just to persuade him. If you like the video, please subscribe to this channel and find out what happened next in part 3 of this story. Thank you.